At exactly 3 a.m., the sound of drums stuffed the air. The abnormal sound of a whistle followed by a subtle praise and heavy footsteps have been heard all over Agam village. "He is right here," Amara whispered in her daughter's ears. "May additionally the gods spare us this time," she cried at the same time as conserving the palms of her 2 daughters. Her sons who had travelled domestic from the metropolis to witness the deciding on through the gods have been additionally pacing about. Chinwe, her husband, a person in his 60s, changed into kneeling through the door. Anybody becomes shaking with worry as the sound of the drum and heavy footsteps persevered towards their houses. Then the footsteps stopped at Amara's doorstep, and an atypical sound crammed the air. "Convey her to me," the faceless god of the land stated in a whisper that deafened the ears of all. "No, no." Amara cried quietly, "No longer my toddler, now not my toddler. Please." Chinwe fast included Ngozi's mouth and dragged his first daughter outside. Kneeling before the faceless large man whose hair touched the floor even as he stood as tall as a tree, Chinwe ceded his first daughter over to the gods and said, "Ajilija, take my present to you." At once, the faceless creature touched Chinwe's daughter. The tune stopped and he moved unexpectedly away. Chin kept kneeling where he became without lifting his face up till dawn. Nobody should see the gods. No person have to look at him. The faceless god walked to the tree that was believed to be a passage to the afterlife. Whilst he got there, a darkish establishing packed with black smoke opened within the centre of the tree. And the faceless god walked into it with Chinwe's daughter, and that might be the ultimate time she might ever be seen. At sunrise, her family have to name for a dinner party and have fund their daughter as marriage to the gods. They were imagined to be glad that their child turned into chosen. So, instead of mourning the lack of their child, Amara and Chinwe cooked and shared food and drinks to the villagers. The next day, everybody back to any place they had been residing. Kemi, Amara's neighbour and high-quality friend, ran to console her. It turned into only the family of the ladies who have been selected that felt the pain and loss of their daughter. "I cannot permit this to show up to my most effective daughter," Kemi said to her great friend. "Amara, my handiest daughter, Iphigenia, is analysing to emerge as a health practitioner. I can't allow this to occur to her," Kemi said in tears. Kemi and her 9 sons wrote to their daughter Iphigenia to come home for a dialogue. "In any other few months, the gods will come out to take another bride. We cannot allow him to take you. So as our simplest daughter, you ought to convey a replacement. Make friends and get considered one of them to trust you. Deliver her domestic with you in 6 months' time, in order that if the gods ever forestall at our door for a bride, we will deliver your pal in place of you." Iphigenia became relieved to hear that because she have been living in fear ever due to the fact. She become a toddler, I already have someone to deliver my roommate Onome. She is from any other tribe and doesn't know anything approximately our subculture. I can deliver her domestic in 6 months' time, Iphigenia assured her circle of relatives. So while she returned to school, she lied to her first-rate pal Onome that a wealthy guy of their village became coming to pay her dowry in 6 months' time. Onome became very glad for her or even promised to observe her home. It wasn't long and 6 months came by, and Iphigenia, who had been making fake arrangements and writing letters to her family, changed into equipped to move domestic, and Onome was very glad for her. They arrived every week before the day, and Iphigenia's own family kept pretending to be getting ready for the advent. They were sure Iphigenia is probably picked because she would turn 22 through the following deciding on, and the gods did no longer take any woman older than 22. They concealed Onome inside their house even as lying that her village was merciless and that she is probably harmed if visible out of doors. Onome would stay within the room they gave her and stare upon the villagers go into the marketplace at the same time as her buddy Iphigenia are available every hour to test on her. She thought her friend became protecting her after mendacity to her that her village was now not. Typed to strangers till 2 days earlier than the D-Day. Iphigenia and her mother visited the mother of all mothers, a female who prepares the younger maidens for the selecting day. Once they were leaving, they locked Onome inside her room. After a while, Onome tried to open her door and noticed that it was locked. She panicked. Why will Iphigenia lock me into this room? Am I now not speculated to even ease myself? Oh no, my dear, and began calling for assist through her window. Any person help me to open this door, she stated to Times, but heard nothing. All Iphigenia's circle of relatives members have been out. Just as she was approximately to give up, Amara, their neighbour and Iphigenia's mom's satisfactory friend, ran to the window. Who are you? She asked with a frown. I am Onome, Iphigenia's first-class buddy. I got here home along with her for her marriage introduction. Amara looked around and stated, Shut up, you foolish woman. There's no marriage creation. Iphigenia brought you domestic to be sent to the world beyond. How will you younger humans now not? Think earlier than performing. You observed someone you don't understand so properly home. Anyway, if you recognize what is right for you, discover a manner to save yourself earlier than the selecting day. Onome did now not nonetheless recognize her. What do you suggest, Ma? She requested. Amara looked at her instantly in the face and said, They want to kill you in days' time. Amara stated this and ran away due to the fact she heard footsteps and laughter coming her manor. Onome panicked and rushed to get her things and tried to leave. However, she stopped whilst she looked out the window and saw Iphigenia and her mother dashing in. Iphigenia ran internal and opened the door for Onome. Sorry, I mistakenly locked you inside, so I returned to open it. But are you okay? Iphigenia pretended to be amazed. Onome, who was still very shaken and burdened, checked out her and forced a grin. Yes, I am, at night time. Amara went back to the window where she had visible Onome and knocked softly. Onome rushed to look who was there and turned into taken aback to see her. Why are you still here? Amara asked, frowning. Do you want to die? Or did you no longer pay attention what I instructed you earlier than? Onome began losing tears. And whispered, I don't recognize where to move from right here. Please assist me. Nicely, I can't assist you escape, Amara said, but I can help you expose them. They will take you someplace for a blood blending ceremony. They may blend your blood with their personal to confuse the gods. In that vicinity, they will provide you with a drink that is combined with their blood and also give you a material that was washed with their blood to put on that night time. Do no longer allow that drink to head down your throat. You should find a manner to mislead them. As for the fabric, do no longer wear it, or in case you need to put on it, make certain you wash it. I don't recognize how you will do it, but you ought to save yourself. I can't lose my toddler and let Kemi's very own stay. Amara stated this and quick grew to become away whilst she heard footsteps coming. Who is there? Chin referred to as out. It's me, Amara. She lied lightly. I'm looking for my male goat. It didn't return domestic ultimate night time. She walked away smiling to herself, Iphigenia's. Mother doesn't believe that girl, Kemi whispered with a frown. She's too nosy. Tomorrow, Iphigenia bumped into Onome's room. We are going somewhere, come with me, she said cheerfully. However, Onome refused, saying she wasn't feeling nicely. Iphigenia's mother frowned. I assume she's starting to suspect something, she said. We need to charm her. What if she refuses to sign up for the gods on that night? In order that they went to a native priest and bought her a law that would control minds. That evening, Iphigenia came lower back holding a small calabash. She blew powder from it into Onome's face. Without delay, Onome's eyes went blank, her thoughts clouded. "Take this bowl of our blood mixture and drink it," Iphigenia commanded. Onome quietly stretched her palms, took the bowl, and pretended to drink. "We got her," Iphigenia giggled. "I didn't recognize the charm could paintings." That night, she gave Onome the purple cloth washed with their circle of relatives' blood. "Put this on," she said. Onome, nonetheless half of under the spell, obeyed at precisely 3:00 a.m. The sound of drums and praises stuffed the air all over again. "Agiliger is right here," Kemi stated, clutching Iphigenia tightly. The faceless god walked straight to their house and stopped. Chin led Onome out of doors and surpassed her over. The creature took her hand and the song stopped. Anybody breathed in relief. It supposed the bride had been general. But before dawn, the drums started out once more. The deadly whistle returned, louder this time. Panic unfolded through Agam. The god had rejected his bride. Onome wakened to discover herself past the veil, standing before Agiliger in the land of the dead, whilst she noticed the faceless god. She started to cry. "How did I get here?" she stated, trembling. "You imposter," Agiliger roared. "How did you lie to me?" He seized her hand, and he felt a force pull her returned, all at once. She determined herself lying beneath the sacred Iroko tree in the village. The sky became pink. Flames spread, the faceless god's voice thundered. "Convey me my wife." Fire ate up huts because the villagers screamed. Iphigenia's own family grabbed their things and fled, denying ever being from Agam. Onome ran after them, crying. However, whilst she reached the brink of the village, she found out she couldn't go away. Her body turned into long past she was now a spirit. Whilst she back to the Iroko tree, the villagers have been kneeling, begging for mercy. Moku, the mouthpiece of the gods, stood before them ringing a bell. Agiliger is indignant, he shouted. He needs another bride this night. A desperate father improved, dragging his daughter. "Take her," he cried. "Spare my sons." Moku pushed the female into the smoky hole, and right now the half died. Later, he grew to become toward Onome's ghost, who stood helpless close to the tree. "You undesirable spirit," he muttered, blowing powder to pin her in place. "Agiliger is merciful, if you may find his runaway bride before the following complete moon. You may have your existence back." But it turned into a lie, whilst Onome tried to speak. No person heard her. Days passed as she wandered, unseen and unheard. Then one night time, she heard Amara calling her call softly beneath the tree. Onome ran towards her. "I'm here," she said, relieved. However, as soon as she came closer, Amara stabbed the air with a knife. Pain shot through Onome's chest. "What have you done?" she cried. Amara held up a small bottle and whispered, "You will serve me now. Your spirit will obey me as I please." She trapped Onome's spirit inside the bottle and sealed it. Months later, word unfolded that Kemi and her family had vanished. Onome's mother came to the school searching for her daughter, however in no way discovered her. The villagers of Agam rebuilt their homes, pretending not anything had passed off. But on nights whilst the whole moon shone vibrant, the villagers nonetheless heard the faint sound of drums near the sacred Iroko tree. A few said it became Agiliger calling for his misplaced bride. Others said it became Onome's spirit, weeping for justice, ethical, even today. Ladies nevertheless go through inside the call of tradition. Blind faith, greed, and betrayal hold to trap the harmless, and trusting their pal without understanding their heart can prize greater than your lifestyles.